Welcome to another episode of the Sports Shed Podcast. Today, being March 11, 2024, is probably the biggest day of signing an NFL free agency today. Several contracts have been signed. Several players have gone to either same teams or gone to new teams. But more interesting than anything else, really, is the quarterbacks that have been signed and whether they're a good fit or not. Me personally, I like to start off real quick. And I'm going to sound a little biased being a Seahawks fan, but I'm going to start out with Russell Wilson. Sign a 1-year deal, base minimum at $1.2 million to the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is right after he's getting a guaranteed 1-year money deal for 35, 36, 37
30 something.
Let's just say
something.
in the mid-30s. That's all that matters. It's a bargain basement deal. Low risk, high reward as far as the Steelers are concerned for 1-year deal.
It's a bigger upgrade than any of the other quarterbacks they got right now, so I'll tell you that.
I personally think it's probably the best upgrade they could get in free agency. Denver basically handed it to them.
Yeah, I think especially since they got him for the minimum rather than Atlanta just dropping a bag for Kirk. I think, the Steelers, I think this is definitely the safer way to go, because if you don't like him after the year, then you go on from there. If you like him, he plays well, sign him to hopefully a semi-decent contract, but we'll see next season for that.
Because you're not getting some like Kirk Cousins type player that can get you to the playoffs but can't really do anything in the playoffs. I feel like Russ still has that in him where he can get you to the playoffs and get you a couple of wins in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a hard division, though.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, every year there's just something about the Steelers winning season, barely squeaking into the playoffs. That defense is going to do what it does. And then I think just having a quarterback that can just make that play for you, I could definitely see him upsetting a team in the playoffs potentially. But
This was really, let's be honest, this is really not a no-brainer for Russell Wilson. I guess he needed to do a little charity work by speaking with the Giants. We all love charity work. It's understandable,
Well, his wife works in New York, so.
Like I said, we are all into non-profit organizations, which I totally understand. So he had to do his due diligence. See, I get that part. But let's be honest, though. He went to Pittsburgh, top-rated defense. Not an issue. For the most part, has never been an issue under Mike Tomlin's head coaching career there. As far as I'm concerned, above average, good to very good running game. Offensive line, pretty decent. What's the one thing that they haven't had in the last couple of years? It was a quarterback. 25 touchdown passes in the last 2 years. Russell Wilson, I believe, had 28. And this is while on a winning streak with the Broncos last year and gets benched. It really didn't require a fortune teller or Nostradamus to see that this was actually a good fit. And plus, you have Mike Tomlin. Has never been under 500 in his entire career, not for 1 year. I'm going to actually say, no to Broadway and yes to Steeler Town. That's what I'm gonna say.
It's very similar to the Seattle team that Russ had with us. They had just a stout defense. They had a run game, and the receiving core. They got some names. Some people that can somewhat make some plays every now and then. It's very similar, and the Steelers are they want to run the ball. So in a way, it is very similar.
All he has to do is what he did with Seattle. All he has to do is just don't turn the ball over. You want to call him a manager, game manager. You call him whatever you want. Just as long as right before that you call him a Super Bowl winner. Okay? Because he's already done that. Mike Tomlin has already done it, I believe, twice?
Once. He's brought the Steelers twice.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. But still a Super Bowl title winner. So with that being said, he fits right perfectly. He doesn't have to do too much. Just pretend that this is blue and lime green, but instead now it's black and yellow. Defense, running game, and manage the game and don't turn the ball over. That's what you got to do. Last year, the Steelers basically won because of their defense. Period. I'm not even going to give any credit to the quarterback at all from last year.
He doesn't deserve any credit.
Like the last few weeks of the season, they had a really good run game too. Like Warren and Harris were really.
They always have a good run game. They have a good run game to above average run game.
No, I'm just saying that's what happened last year.
Oh yeah,
Because they were struggling running the ball earlier on in the year, and then they both started getting like 100-yard, close to 100-yard games. So
yeah,
I mean, what are the options you were going to do? The Steelers wasn't going to break the bank for a quarterback. So they actually needed to go and grab Russell Wilson.
Yeah, right? they're not high enough for the draft a quarterback unless they want to settle for a Bo Nix or a Michael Penix. That's if they even drop to him.
They weren't going to draft a quarterback. They have the defense now. They have the running game now. They weren't going to draft a quarterback.
Yeah,
the likelihood they were going to go get a quarterback, a proven quarterback. That's exactly what they were going to do.
Yeah,
that's what
I think they're in a win now situation.
Yeah.
And instead of just dropping a bag for Kirk Cousins, I think Wilson had
that dude steals money.
He had a solid season last year. So it was an okay season, but he's a huge improvement from the quarterbacks they had the past 2 years. I mean, it's a major upgrade from that.
Yeah. Also, I mean, the only other option I really heard that was like realistic is Atlanta for Russ, but I feel like he made the right choice by going to the Steelers because the Steelers, I feel, have a better system in place and a more proven commodity of a coach and just better system, and it's a better fit for Russ. I think if he went to Atlanta, it would be tough. It would be tough. He would get his because it's Russell and Russell cooks, but it's a better career move going to the Steelers.
The only difference is the defense. Like both teams have weapons in a sense, but I mean that Steelers defense is by far better. Like that's what makes the decision easier for that.
And at least I would say the Falcons do have a number one option in Kyle Pitts. They could have a 1A and a 1B, honestly, with Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson. But I think Pittsburgh with, I would say, 3 average number 2s with a possibility of a person being able to be a number 1 in Pickens is a better option, in my opinion.
He wasn't going to Atlanta. The second Arthur Smith got fired as the head coach from Atlanta, became the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers, it was pretty much a done deal because prior to him getting fired, Russell Wilson was saying, people were saying, he's going to Atlanta, perfect fit. That's what they wanted him. Arthur Smith got fired. Raheem Morris got the head coaching job. The likelihood then Pittsburgh hires Arthur Smith as the offensive coordinator. So the fact that he even visited Pittsburgh and never even smelled or decided to go by Atlanta, it was already a marriage made in heaven for the most part because he wasn't going to go anywhere. Like I said, I thought it was a little cute and funny as heck though when they said they interviewed with the Giants was going to do a backup and bring water to Daniel Jones. Give me a break. That was a waste of trip. Get your money back, bro. But at the same token, you have now Atlanta who decides to spend, and I quote, $180 million for 4 years for a guy that really hasn't done anything in the postseason. The guy has put up numbers. Like basically, what are we talking about here? Another version of Dak Prescott? Seriously? Listen, I'm not giving a 35, 36-year-old guy $180 million. That's just not going to happen. Not for 4 years. You're insane.
I wouldn't compare Kirk Cousins to Dak Prescott.
Why not? They both put up numbers.
Dak Prescott's still the better QB than Kirk Cousins.
Okay, so all right. You want to get into a debate as to who's the better quarterback? My answer is who cares?
Okay.
Who cares?
I mean,
no, seriously.
When they get to the dance, they're still not going to get it done either way. So
we are talking about 3 relatives that are probably related to each other because of their style of quarterback. The oldest brother is Tony Romo. Okay. Then the middle child is Dak Prescott. No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. The middle child is Kirk Cousins. And then the child or adopted or whatever is Dak Prescott. All 3 of them have put up fantastic numbers. 2 out of the 3 more than likely are going to the Hall of Fame for the numbers that they put up. But you want to sit here and waste my time and the audience time as who's the better quarterback between Dak Prescott and Kirk Cousins? Are you for real? You're going to be having that conversation with yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror and have that discussion with yourself.
Honestly, this conversation is just raps. Like, he just cooked. Like, we don't want to hear it.
Like, honestly, though,
I'm not doing a segue into the Cowboys. That's just not going to happen. Not on this episode. Anyway.
How do you think Kirk Cousins fits with them?
I mean, yeah, he's a good quarterback. Like, I think he's going to win games. But I don't think the defense is all that to win in postseason games. I think they might win a game.
Are they going to actually utilize Kyle Pitts and Bijan Robinson better?
Yes. Well, it depends if they give Bijan more reps, because they could still be just trying to like manage it to just try and have him last some more seasons and not just give him the whole workload. But yeah, I would think Kyle Pitts would put up number 1.
I still think they need a guy that can consistently get into the end zone.
Listen,
he had Desmond Ritter throwing.
Desmond Ritter, the guy.
I understand that Desmond Ritter is not a good quarterback at all.
Your quarterback can't get the ball to your receiver or your running back running up right down the sideline there as your 3rd, 4th, 5th option, and your quarterback can't get you the ball. Yeah, that's the reason why they didn't win, and that's why they got rid of Ryder. Kirk Cousins is going to get them the ball. They have, I want to assume, a pretty average line or above average. We don't hear too much about Ryder getting sacked or being going after by the defensive team, but the defensive line. So now you have Ryder that really can't be a quarterback. At best, he's going to be a backup, or he's going to be joining Zach Wilson anyway somewhere else, or nowhere to be for that matter. So they brought in Kirk Cousins. He's a proven quarterback. He's going to put up the numbers. He's going to get them the ball. And that's it.
Now, the only other question I have with Atlanta is I'm not really sure where Atlanta is in the draft, but you would rather go with Kirk Cousins instead of trying to trade up or taking, like, say, a Bo Nix in the draft? Or do you think there's just too many holes to fill there?
I think Atlanta looks at it in a sense that it's the weakest division in the NFL.
Okay.
And they figure if they pay him, they get him, they know what they're going to get out of him. At, like, worst, they're probably thinking, like, we're going to win the division. Like,
okay.
I mean.
Okay. I also,
Listen, he's going to want to win now. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers that just signed Baker Mayfield, 3 years for $100 million. That's a win now, okay? Granted, they didn't do much, but they can't possibly get any worse. I pray to God they don't. They've got Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers. You got New Orleans Saints. They have now Derek Carr. Sorry, Saints fans.
Can't stay healthy.
Well, they give him a 4-year, $150 million deal. And now you have Kirk Cousins. This is a division that can be won by anybody. You go every single year. You take all four teams, right? Write them on a piece of paper, throw in them a hat, shake the hat, and pick your division winner. And probably you might end up being right. That's how even each of those teams. You want to sleep on Carolina? If they do a few other things, they could still possibly even win the division. It's up for grabs by anybody. So in this case, they're like, listen, we're in probably one of the weakest divisions in the entire NFL. Okay?
Yeah.
Every year is always a new divisional winner. This one happens to be back-to-back year because the year before that it was Tom Brady. So with that being said, but generally, it's every other year they alternate. Rarely do you find a repeat winner.
So with Tampa re-signing Baker and also retaining Mike Evans, you don't think Tampa's going to win that division again? You think it's still open?
It is still open.
It's
they got
open.
Kirk Cousins now.
It's open.
They have Kirk Cousins now. Actually, I
didn't like Atlanta's system.
Going towards the last game,
They had Desmond Ritter. What are we talking about?
They had the last game or two. Tampa had to win the division the last week of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, what they had,
They
9 or 10 wins?
At one point,
I think it was 9 or 10, yeah.
At one point throughout the season, there were teams between the I'm sorry, between the Falcons and the Bucks, they were leading the division, and they were both under 500. They were both under 500. If I'm Tampa Bay, I would worry a little bit more than I would if you're Atlanta. Atlanta didn't have a quarterback, and they were neck and neck with them. They were neck and neck.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, how I see it is like Tampa's probably going to remain around the same since they retain the guys they have, and then
I
they
agree.
got Kirk Cousins, and you would assume that they would only improve from there, and they were neck and neck last year.
That's
Also, the Raiders just signed Gardner Minshew 2 years. I don't know if that means they're not getting a quarterback anymore.
why are we talking about the Raiders? Seriously, like what?
You know what?
They also signed Christian Wilkins.
They did. They also signed Christian Wilkins on a massive deal.
Minshew's solid. So.
I mean, Minshew's solid.
But they're not going to do nothing.
But again, look, Raiders fans, Raider Nation, Raider World, whatever your nickname is, it really at this point it really doesn't matter. Okay, and here's why. All right, Patrick Mahomes. Personally, all I have to do is stop there, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna take that knife and twist it a little bit more because it's really rusty and I need you to feel it. Okay, you have Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert. And to be honest with you, it doesn't really matter the quarterback that the Denver Broncos have. It'll still be better than the quarterback that you end up getting anyway by default. Like, I'm sorry. You guys move to Vegas. Do me a favor. Do not bet on yourself. Because the house will win. And you will lose.
And don't forget, the Chargers, they upgraded their head coach, too.
They did
got
upgrade
Jim
their head
Harbaugh
coach.
Let me rephrase that one more time. Okay. The Chargers have Jim Harbaugh. It doesn't matter what quarterback the Raiders get. It's not going to matter.
He might also cheat.
Okay? It's not going to cheat, bro. Like, you can't control what other people saying. Come on, man. Jim Harbaugh is a proven not a proven quarterback. Actually, he was.
He was a
pretty
quarterback.
good.
He was a quarterback.
But he's a proven head coach. He started out with the San Diego Toros, okay, in the WCC conference. It made them better. Okay, then he went to Stanford, made them better. Then he went to the 49ers, went to the Western Conference, and I believe also took him to the Super Bowl, went head-to-head with his brother.
Yep.
Okay, then he goes to Michigan. The guy goes, he wins. Listen, I don't like the guy. Whether I like the guy or not, it's different. We all have our own biases. We have our favorite head coaches. We have our favorite teams, and blah, 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 and those that we despise. That's fine. But you got to give where credit is due. The man can coach. The man can coach. And the fact that I'm saying that he can coach and it still doesn't matter what quarterback the Raiders have, listen, enjoy Vegas, go play poker, go play blackjack, because that's your best shot at winning, more so than winning the division. And until Patrick Mahomes retires, listen, I know we have to talk about the Raiders because we have to, but just call them, they will literally be Mr. Irrelevant. Okay? So it really doesn't matter. All right? I mean, but if you want to talk about the Raiders, we continue to talk about the Raiders. Go ahead.
No. Let's get into Saquon Barkley signing with Philly.
How about we start with Josh Jacobs?
No.
Listen,
No.
Josh Jacobs. Who did he sign with? Someone remind me?
He signed with the Packers.
Was it a 4-year deal?
It was a 4-year, $48 million
Yeah.
deal.
Josh Jacobs. What can I say to you, my friend? That was probably, so far, the smartest move in NFL free agency right now. Literally, the smartest move. You went from, I'm not going to say Raider Nation. You went from Raiders, whatever that is over there,
It's identity crisis. That's what it is.
to the Packers with Justin Love, an up-and-coming star.
Isn't it Jordan?
Okay?
It's Jordan.
Jordan Love. We all get the difference, okay? Honestly, you went from the Raiders to the Packers, okay? That was the best move he's made so far. And actually, that was a really nice signing because now they can complement him with Love. And then he doesn't have to feel that pressure right now. And hopefully, the contract that he signed, he can still produce. He doesn't have to do the same thing he did with the Raiders. He doesn't have to. He just needs to make Love's job just a little bit easier. You saw what this kid did last year. Okay, first year to start.
But you're fine giving a running back 4 years.
Listen,
How old is he?
yeah, how old is he?
Good question.
'Cause
Actually,
they gave Barkley 3 years. And
3
I'm
years.
pretty sure he's like at least 2 years younger.
Saquon Barkley is 29 years old, or 28. He's 28. Sorry,
I feel like Josh Jacobs is a couple years younger than him.
maybe 27.
I'll look it up.
So while they're doing that,
Well, he's born.
He's
26.
He's 26 years old.
oh, okay, he's
26.
26.
Yeah, he got.
So yeah, that 4-year deal is it's fine.
See, this just shows you just how messed up the Giants are, man. They just didn't want to pay Barkley years ago, and now they lost him, and now y'all can live with Devin Singletary.
Listen, you have no idea how bad I want to throw this hat in the trash.
Listen, I wouldn't do that. You want to know why I wouldn't throw that hat in the trash? I'm gonna tell you why.
It's
Pretend that that's a
trash.
collection plate. Okay? Pretend that's a collection plate. Because Mara is going to need all the help he can for paying. And it's going to be arguably, I could probably make an argument right now, as one of the most overinflated, overpaid contracts in NFL history to Daniel Jones. You chose to give somebody who threw for 15 touchdown passes. 15. Yeah, he threw 5 in those. 15. You know what? That's worth $40 million a year to me.
That's
So
that's
take
worth
that
the
hat.
franchise tag. That's what
Take
that's
that
worth.
hat and don't throw it out. Take that hat and pass it like a collection plate.
Spare change.
Spare
Spare
change. Because you could have used that money to have both.
To pay Saquon.
Okay?
You just pay Saquon. You franchise tag Daniel Jones last year, and you pay Saquon. The dude's carried the team. I mean, granted, it hasn't been an amazing record, but he carried the team. He was the offense of the team.
Well,
The offense of the
yeah,
team.
they went to the playoffs.
Yeah, they went to the playoffs with Saquon.
So
And
you're
they
telling me
decided to pay Daniel
if they
Jones.
would have franchise tagged
Daniel-
Jones, you'd think he was still worth $32 million? Because that's roughly
For that year, yes, to see. Yes.
to see.
To see if it was actually progression, or to see if last year was a fairy tale the year before, which it was. It was a fairy tale.
Well, with that 32, I mean, that's the $8 million could have went right to Barkley.
That's what I'm saying.
And they didn't.
And they didn't. They chose to pay Daniel Jones and
Hey, you know what?
franchise tag Saquon Barkley.
You know what? Daniel Jones has just as much as blame because he knew by signing that contract they weren't going to have money to sign
knew.
Barkley.
He
Like,
had-
I
has
want
to
Daniel
know.
Jones out of New York
He has to know.
by the start of the
Because
season.
if you take at least $30 million, that is $10 million that can go straight to Barkley. So you also have blame on Daniel Jones as well.
You ask any Giants fan, they did not turn on a Giants game to watch Daniel Jones throw a football 2 yards. Okay? They turned on the Giants game to watch Saquon Barkley run down defenses' throats and just outside zone plays. They watched just for Saquon. Okay,
I wouldn't say they watched only for Barkley.
I did.
I wouldn't go.
It was mostly, though.
I mean,
It's
yeah, it
it's
was
mostly
yeah, I
Barkley.
wouldn't go
Same thing
that.
when OBJ was there. I didn't watch it for anything else. I watched it for OBJ. The Giants sucked. They will suck. They suck now. They'll suck then until they actually get a quarterback and a coherent owner. The owner is probably the worst owner in the league.
Do me a favor. Stand in the back of the line. Let me know how the Raiders feel. All right, in a few years. Okay, because that's where the Giants are gonna belong right now. Okay, they listen. They chose to give him that money. They chose him over Barkley. There's just no way around it. They chose him over Barkley because they say, "Hey,
Yeah.
a quarterback is what makes this league," and for the most part, it is. But you don't have one. That's the problem.
Yeah, but now we got to deal with Saquon Barkley running down our throats.
Yeah, that sounds like a you problem, bro. All right, not our problem. That sounds like a you problem.
No, that's a
bro.
Giants problem.
Okay,
That's a Giants problem.
And the rest of the Giant fans, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna throw a little quick shout out there to my boy Tigo. All right, I know he a diehard Giants. I'm gonna throw a little quick shout out to my boy out in Oklahoma from Boogie Down Bronx. I mean, he a diehard Giants fan. With the exception of you two guys, I'm sorry, but y'all deserve what you get.
That's crazy.
Y'all deserve what you get.
Listen,
Okay?
I can't.
Let's just keep it
The
real.
sad thing is I can't disagree.
Okay,
I can't disagree.
All right, like I said, with the exception of those two boys of mine, they're my boys.
It
My
still
boys.
hurts my feeling.
But you deserve everything you get.
I'm going to bed crying tonight.
Okay, listen, cry again, again.
I mean,
It don't
that's what's
matter.
gonna happen.
Okay, it don't matter.
This is great.
Okay,
'Cause-
the fact is that Philly. Listen,
Phillies are daddies.
listen. Jalen Hurts, he's having fun right now. Right now, he's telling Barkley, "Yo, come over here."
For real.
All right, cause we're gonna be celebrating right now. We're gonna have a good time right now. Come on now. All right,
They're probably already drinking margaritas.
Man,
All right. Here's something I want to get into. Because I want to know what you two think on it. T. Higgins getting franchise tagged and then requesting a trade. How do you feel about that?
I feel it's granted. He's waited almost a full year to talk a contract extension. I'm pretty sure the Bengals said they were willing to talk to him. I'm pretty sure they haven't talked to him since March 23rd of 2023.
I also want to add in, like, how do you guys feel like well, players want a contract, but like those teams are just like franchise tagging them? Like, how do you feel like to them, just like those players just requesting a trade? Like, if you're not going to sign me to a contract,
I think it's the right of the player. They don't need to trade him.
I mean, listen. The whole purpose of the franchise tag is for you to keep a player and use it in a particular position, because at that moment you can't sign them for whatever reason. Okay, and that was supposed to be a good thing. Clearly, it's not, because it's a one-time deal, right? Fully guaranteed, whether you're hurt or not. It's fully guaranteed once you get tagged. So when that happens, now instead they're like, no, I don't want to wait another year, because if I get hurt, I need that contract. So I'm gonna go back to what I said, what I've said before in the past. You have signed Joe Burrow to how much?
A lot.
Okay,
Yeah.
which is fine. Let's
I mean,
say
he deserves it.
That-
He
that's
deserves
fine.
it.
That's fine, and that's great. But everyone needs to understand with
It's
this
gonna affect-
franchise
it's gonna
tag
affect the team.
and getting a contract extension. I don't blame T. Higgins getting in the contract extension. Does he deserve it? I believe he do. What are the numbers? It's subjective. You compare his numbers to those out there that have contracts that he's looking for. If he meets the criteria, a team is going to actually sign him. But at the end of the day, you have to remember, you knew you were going to be in this position. I'm sorry, Jamar Chase, has he signed yet?
He has not.
Okay. Another question mark that's going to happen. Okay. When you get into a situation where you cannot sign everybody, because again, when you have these, I don't want to say inflated, because it makes it sound like these guys don't deserve the money, but when you have these high value contracts, that's why I love the NFL. It's the only sport where you cannot go over the salary cap. There is no tax involved.
Yeah,
you
there's
can't
no-
go over it. So you have to cut them. Me personally, if I'm T. Higgins, yeah, of course. I want a contract extension,
Yeah.
because I know that the second Jamar Chase gets his, I'm not getting it.
I think it's interesting too how like football is the only sport that has these like franchise tags, right? And their sport is the one that's like you're most likely to get a career-ending injury. Like it's
Yeah,
it's
there's no
interesting
luxury
to me
tags.
because it's like, you know, with the franchise tag, it's like, okay, it's that 1 year, but like let's say you play that year and then you suffer a career-ending injury. Now it's like, now what? Like,
Well,
you know,
You better hope that team loves you.
that's
Well-
why that's why I agree with you though. Like with like you should have that right to like request a trade.
There's nothing
and, like,
wrong
not-
with
and not
requesting
wanna
that
play
trade.
there because
But at the end of the day, they do not have to grant him a trade.
I mean, true.
You're just going to have to possibly deal with a disgruntled player.
But he hasn't signed the franchise tag. Just because you
No,
get
he
tagged,
hasn't. No.
Then he signed it.
No.
Okay, hear me out. What I'm saying is they can tag you. Doesn't mean you have to sign it. This is still negotiable.
Yeah.
You can say, hey, it's been done in the past. Hey, I'll sign it under condition you don't tag me next year.
He won't get tagged. He'll be able to walk.
No, he can't. He can be tagged again.
He won't get tagged.
he could though.
He could. Yeah, he could.
Right.
He 100% could.
Right.
Why take the chance? If
So
there's
why
no
take the
possibility?
chance? What I'm saying is he hasn't signed it yet. This has happened before. So when if I'm his agent, I'd be like, if you want to sign it, that's fine. under condition that you don't get tagged next year and they let you go for free agency.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, because that has been put into a contract for other players in the past by other organizations. So
Sure.
his franchise tag is $21.8 million. Okay, that's the franchise tag.
That's
for
the
a wide
average.
receiver.
Yep.
What they do is they take the top in any position. They take the top 5 highest salary. They divide it by 5, and that's the average
Yep.
for the franchise tag. That's how they come up with that money. Okay, so if I'm T. Higgins, don't tag me next year. I'll sign it. I walk, or give me a contract extension between now and then, which you still can work out. I mean, the guy's good. I think he deserves it.
I don't think they're going to give him a contract extension because they're going to have to pump money into Jamar Chase. And it's going to be a decent amount of money.
And last year they signed the left tackle as a free agency. What is his name? I forget his name, but he also signed a huge contract.
Yes.
The left tackle free agency. I forget where he came from, but they signed him to a big long-term contract. I believe I saw a 5-6 year deal if I remember correctly. So at some point, it's not that they don't want to pay the guy.
They can't. It's just they can't.
They can. It's that who do I give the money to? Because you gave so much already to Joe Burrow
And that left tackle.
Yeah, like you're gonna let T. Higgins walk.
You're going to
sign
let
Jamar Chase.
you have to let
like,
T. Higgins walk.
Like if you have the choice,
Or
like,
you
it's
trade him.
If you have the choice, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I mean, no
It's
disrespect
Jamar
to no disrespect to T. Higgins. You
got-
know what? I was gonna say no brainer, but I'm not gonna disrespect that man that way. I'm not gonna do that because he's a good player. He's put up some numbers. To me, the obvious choice is gonna be Jamar Chase.
You just got to go with that connection, man. It's the
Yeah,
LSU
yeah,
connection.
they've known each other for years.
They
too, yeah.
they since they played together, that all they've been doing is blowing up the league. Since they played together, you have to stick with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow.
And this is where it comes back on the Joe Burrow contract again. Like same thing with Daniel Jones. If he just takes $10 million a year,
Yeah.
like that's that money that can go right to T. Higgins.
That's like a Tom Brady thing too.
Tom
honestly.
Brady was taking half of like the top.
Yeah, he was just making his money
top
off of
players are
sponsors and endorsements.
Listen, everybody can hate on Tom Brady all they want.
He's smart.
But you know
though.
what?
He's smart.
You have to respect. And people say, "Oh well, Efrain, he took less money because
No,
his wife was Giselle." No, it had nothing to do with his wife's money or ex-wife's money. It had nothing to do with it.
Here's another big
He
thing.
wanted
too.
to win.
Here's another big thing too. Is it's like they're gonna make money off of endorsements because they're the
Exactly,
quarterbacks
that's what
of
I'm
the
saying.
Team. Like,
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
Their face and their name is already going to make money through endorsements.
Yes.
So it's like, why are you taking
Jerseys.
Why are you taking the max money when it's like T. Higgins and like Jamar Chase? Maybe not Jamar Chase, but for T. Higgins, like his money is going to be from a contract. Like,
Yes.
He's not going to get endorsements. Like Joe
No.
Burrow is going to get millions just from endorsements. So it's
Jersey
like,
sales.
Why take so much percentage of your team's money, and not be able to sign these players that you will need to win?
That doesn't mean Joe Burrow doesn't deserve that money. He deserves
Yeah.
every penny of that money because he's the only person that can beat Patrick Mahomes.
If that's the top quarterback pay and that's like what they get and that's clearly what they've been getting, then yeah, that's what he deserves.
But you better be ready to deal
lose
with the
people.
But I don't want to hear
casualty
you
caps.
complain
When you
I
lose
don't want-
people.
I don't want to hear you complain now when you complain about your team not being able to get in players when you did it to yourself.
Exactly.
That's all it is. You chose to take
You're-
one guy, give him the good chunk of the money.
Because you're not going to consistently get a 30 mil increase in cap.
That's the thing too, though. I guess when you look at like Atlanta's situation, is they have Bijan and Kyle. I don't know how Kyle Pitts, but they do have Bijan for a few more years, so it's like they can kind of get away with it for the next couple of years, and then later down his contract, that's when it's
you're going to
really
pay Kyle Pitts like a tight
Yeah.
end.
But the thing is with Joe Burrow is, didn't they sign him for like 8 years or something like that?
Burrow?
Yeah, wasn't it?
It
was only
It's
5?
5, yeah.
Five.
Okay. I thought it was more. Yeah, Mahomes was like 10 or something like that.
That,
I mean-
that'll probably be Joe Burrow's next contract. It's 10.
How many years does he have left?
Well, it was an extension past his rookie deal. I think he got signed his third year into his rookie deal.
But yeah, again, like later down in the contracts.
Yeah.
Like that's when it's going to affect you.
Yep. Because if it's back heavy, you can always restructure and add more years to it.
Well, it's not even add more years. You make the money guaranteed.
Yes.
Once you make the money guaranteed, that doesn't count against the salary cap. So, with that being said, later on, if they want to restructure the money so they can give money to whomever they want to sign or retain, like Jamar Chase or even T. Higgins, then they're going to have to restructure it. So when they restructure it, it's just basically saying, hey, we're going to give you more money upfront guaranteed, and that's going to free up cap space. And that's what's going to happen. And now looking here during free agency, man, the Panthers signed a guard off from the Dolphins,
Yeah.
offensive guard, what's his name? Robert Hunt, a 5-year, $100 million to a guard.
They really want to protect Bryce Young.
I mean, he's been healthy. I mean, and he turns 28.
That's not bad.
He'll be 33.
That's not bad for a guard.
That's a. I mean,
It's a lot for a
I'm
guard.
going to be honest. I don't know much about.
He's a good. He's a really guard. He's really good.
So I can't really.
He's a really good guard.
But
You're paying. It's a 5-year deal for a guard, which means he could probably play until he's 38.
was he a Pro Bowler and stuff
Look
like
at-
that? Like,
I mean, it doesn't say he is, but according to this, he's actually won 91% of his past blocks in his career,
okay.
and he's only allowed 12 sacks and 3,316 snaps.
And how many years has he played?
And he's played now for 4 seasons under the Dolphins line. And he's played every single position, at least one snap in every position on that line. So
He's good.
Versatile,
It's in the right.
doesn't allow any blocks. All right. I mean, and he started 55 out of 67 games.
All right.
So he's durable.
You know, it's the only thing he had was a hamstring injury that limited him to 10 games only in 2023. That's it. Other than that, the guy's durable. He doesn't. So if you're gonna go ahead and, because let's be honest, Bryce Young was getting killed.
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young was getting killed.
Yeah,
he
he's
was.
going to continue to get killed.
So you know what? You got to protect the guy.
He was sacked the second most.
And you might as well pay your line
Behind
You-
who?
you
Sam
got- you have
Howell?
so mu-
Yeah.
Listen, you have so much money under the cap. You're not paying Bryce Young anytime soon. So you
No.
might as well just get a nice line and protect him while you're at it, so you can put up some.
You want me
That
to,
was
you
the
want
one
me to
thing
be
he
honest
needed.
with you?
He
They're not
needed
going to.
the
I don't think
line.
they're going to pay Bryce Young anyways.
Well, that's years from now.
That's years from
That's
now.
just me. That's just me assuming. So
Wait,
You
you're saying
can't-
that
you
they may
can't
not
assume.
actually pay him?
no, I think they're going to let him go.
All right, so he just got done with his rookie year. We're
Yeah.
not going to get into that.
Yeah, not.
You're not.
That's
you're about
just
to
an
get
assumption,
Flamed. You're
so.
about to get flamed.
It's just an
You're
assumption.
about to get flamed.
It's just an assumption.
It's literally his rookie year, and he was sacked.
Did you
the
see
second
that,
most time of the second most out of all quarterbacks?
I'm not even gonna address that with Bryce Young. Since the guy whose team drafted Daniel Jones only because they went to the Manning Academy.
Y'all make one
Listen,
playoff.
I told you
Y'all
this
make
owner
one
sucks.
playoff appearance, and you're like, let's pay him the max.
I told you the ownership
But-
sucks.
But you don't want. But you want to talk about Bryce Young.
Well, after 1 year,
After his
you're
rookie
literally
year.
talking about the minority of Giants fans that
No,
wanted
I'm
Daniel
talking
Jones.
to you because you're talking
Yes.
on Bryce Young. I'm talking to you.
I'd personally still take Bryce Young over Daniel Jones.
That's not working.
that was not the discussion. That's not what you said. That's not what you said.
You talking on a quarterback after his
I
rookie
jumped the
year.
gun on that comment.
Yeah.
I jumped the gun on that
Maybe
comment.
just a little bit.
Yeah,
wanna-
I jumped the gun on that
Apologize
comment.
to Bryce Young right now.
I'm sorry, Bryce Young.
You didn't jump the
Step
gun.
it up.
Wait. You didn't jump
That's
the
fair.
gun. You went bungee jumping, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, off a bridge.
Listen. I apologize, Bryce Young, but you got to step it up, man. Because
Well,
you
listen,
look,
look, they went-
you literally
they went-
look like a 10-year-old behind an offensive line and a defensive line
You-
in the
can you
NFL.
explain-
Bro, he's always going to look like a little kid. He's literally 5'10".
Just step it up. Just play
Can't
better.
control
First
his
overall
height.
pick.
Oh, bro, what do you want a
It's
guy
funny.
to?
It's
What do you
funny.
want a guy to do when he's sacked 62 times in a year? I'm waiting.
Hold that comment, because you could say the same thing about Daniel Jones.
Was he? He didn't even play.
Because he was sacked about 60 times. And
No, he wasn't.
look it up.
He didn't play.
He didn't play last
He
year.
didn't play.
Daniel
Yeah.
Jones?
Yes, he didn't play.
He played.
Tyrod Taylor and Tommy DeVito.
Danny DeVito's cousin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he played a bunch. They played a bunch
They
of
played a
games.
bunch
They-
of games.
dude,
He
They
didn't
played
play.
almost half the season.
Daniel Jones is on pace to get sacked the most ever in NFL
That's-
history.
I don't care about on pace. I care about what is. And what
Okay.
is that
Okay.
Bryce Young
He
But
got sacked the
all I'm
second
saying,
most.
all I'm saying is Daniel Jones is behind a worse line than Bryce Young. He was.
That's not what we're talking about.
So I don't like that. I don't like that
You
sack
just said
thing.
you just said he looks like a little kid. He's literally 5'10". He's going to look like a
yeah.
kid.
He still needs to step up his play.
You get sacked 62 times in one
What did
season.
CJ
What do you
how
want
many
him to
how many
do?
times was
That
CJ
team is
Stroud
awful.
sacked?
That team is awful. What
How
do you
many
want him
teams
to
was
do?
CJ Stroud sacked?
CJ Stroud, some two solid running backs.
How many times was he sacked?
Oh, not as much.
How many times was he sacked?
Not as much.
You know what? Let's look that up.
And he had no names.
Who?
CJ Stroud didn't really have any
CJ Stroud
receivers
didn't have
besides
Tank,
this year.
Didn't have Tank Dell.
Tank Dell just came out this year as a top
Didn't
receiver.
have I don't even know. who
Nico
the other
Collins,
guy
I'm
is.
pretty
Nico
sure is a
Collins.
rookie.
Yep. Who else they have? They had somebody else too. I'm gonna look this up.
So he was sacked 38 times.
He sacked half the time.
Half the time.
Okay.
You speak on stuff you don't even know. This is what we're talking about.
Bro.
He has to be protected. I don't care who you...
Any quarterback needs to be protected.
Right, but that's our point. That's what we were trying to tell you. That he has to be protected, but you keep saying he's young. Listen, Bryce Young is going to look like a fifth grader
I know.
compared to these guys. There's
I know
nothing you
that.
can do about that.
I know
but
that.
I'm not going to look at somebody.
Bro, he had Robert Woods, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, and Tank Dell to throw to last year.
Nico Collins is a dog.
He had Devin Singletary and Damian Pierce in the backfield.
What are
He
you
had
supposed to-
he had far more than Bryce Young did.
Okay.
Now, all credit to CJ
Listen,
Stroud.
I'm
He
not
still
gonna
got
I'm
the
not
job,
gonna
though.
disagree. I'm not gonna disagree with that.
You've been doing that a lot lately today. That's
But you want to talk on him after one season.
He does have to. I
Bryce
think he
Young.
does have to play better. I do think he has to play better though. Is what it is.
Oh man,
A rookie.
I never
Just keep this in mind. A rookie.
Yeah.
Okay.
A rookie.
You know what? As a matter of fact, he played far better than Kenny Pickett
Yes.
his first two seasons.
Yes,
Far
I
better.
agree. I agree.
Yes.
I agree.
And he
But I didn't hear you talking
and he
about
had
him.
and he had a team. He
Because
had a
there's
running
nothing to
back, he had
talk about
a
with
line,
Kenny
he had a
Pickett, man.
defense.
Kenny Pickett is just
Crazy.
horrible.
I'm about to look up some stats and not.
I mean, at this point, I just don't know what to say. To be honest with you, man, I'm going to be very honest. I just don't know what else to tell you. But as far as all these quarterbacks, okay, being signed, what that leads to is the quarterbacks that are getting drafted.
Yes.
Because some of these teams chose not to go the free agency route. Okay? We still have to figure out exactly what in the world the dysfunctional Chicago Bears organization is going to do. Are they going to keep Justin Fields? Or are they drafting Caleb Williams? You're not keeping both. That's not going to happen.
No, you're not.
That's not going to happen. So, at this point, look, to me, they waited too long. And the longer they keep waiting,
It's just too known.
no, but the longer they keep waiting, the less value they're going to get in return for him. Okay? Steelers signed Russell
Yep.
Wilson. Atlanta got
Do you-
Kirk Cousins. Tampa Bay got Baker Mayfield. Okay? Who else am I missing here? Am I missing anybody else?
Raiders
The
got
Raiders,
Gardner Minshew.
Gardner Minshew.
He was a Pro Bowler,
You know what? Minshew,
and you say you like him.
I actually like the guy.
Yeah, right.
To me, he deserves a starting job.
And it looks
and he's
like
got
going
it.
to.
He deserves a starting job. Actually, I've said it the last couple of years he deserves a starting job because he's actually outdone himself as a backup than potentially many of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL
I agree.
today. Okay, and he's actually proved it. So he's going to the Raiders. My prayers are with you, my friend. No, genuinely, my prayers are with you, my friend. Okay,
So-
I hope you do something. But besides that, who else are we missing? I don't think any other major.
I mean, Mac Jones to the Jaguars, but that's
no, meaning I meant quarterbacks. As far as quarterbacks being signed by teams in free agency,
I agree with that one. He's not a quarterback.
with those being signed, now you got to talk about the quarterbacks that are going to be selected in the draft. And right now,
'Cause-
Justin Fields fits. I don't know which team I can't think of right now, but who would they fit with? Okay, by just looking here.
I mean, I could say I think he fits with the Chicago Bears.
That's not going to happen. Listen, you're not holding.
You can't say it's not going to happen though. You can't.
and it's still a slim possibility.
He
Okay.
fits with the Chicago Bears.
I will say he is. I'm gonna say less than 5% he stays with the. Not that he belongs there. I'm saying less than 5% he stays with the Bears.
Chicago needs to drop their asking price for Justin Fields.
Oh, he could go to Minnesota.
That's true.
That is true, actually.
That's right.
Could go to Denver.
It's not about actually.
Could go to Denver.
The Bears don't even have to drop their asking price. The asking price already went down when all these other teams signed quarterbacks, and they keep holding on to him. So at some point, they're gonna have to pull the plug or pull the trigger, whatever terminology you want to use.
Or draft Marvin Harrison Jr.
I think it's either draft Harrison or you're going to have to trade him. I don't think it would be Washington, New England, or Arizona. Well, no, Arizona's got Kyler, but I don't think it would be Washington or New England because they pick 2 and 3, and they'll probably just draft a quarterback if that's the direction they want to go, because they could get a decent quarterback. But so the only two that make sense are Minnesota and Denver. And
You could throw the Giants.
Stop.
You
Please,
could.
please stop.
You could.
And then
stop.
maybe
It's realistic.
I'm not.
maybe Tennessee.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
But
You don't think Tennessee's all that?
well, they have Will
Levy.
Yeah, Will Levis.
Levis.
Will
yeah,
Levis, yeah.
That's why I'm like,
and
maybe.
he was a rookie last year, so they're not taking it. They're going to stick with him right now.
Yeah.
Okay, just for
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
But right now,
We have Minnesota picks 11th and Denver picks 12th. I think those two make the most sense.
So I got another question because
Although I would take MHJ.
I agree.
That is literally the direction I would.
I agree.
Personally,
who would you take?
I would take
MHJ.
Marvin Harrison Jr. That if I was the Bears, that's who I'm taking.
I agree, 100%.
Especially since in the last game, the Chicago Bears fans were saying, "We want Fields. We want Fields."
You got to keep Fields.
They
man.
want him. So me and seeing what I seen in that winning streak to end the season, I would go. Now I do think they're going to draft a quarterback, but the direction I would go is to help him and get receivers.
I was listening to Colin Cowherd, and he said a stat, which whether I'm sure it's true, but I couldn't compare him to Zach Wilson. So he threw these stats about 55% completion in the second half of every game or something to that effect, and he started saying he's a second half Zach Wilson.
Stop.
Here's the difference between, and I'm gonna have to the stats may support
The
your
the passing stats.
right. Your numbers may support his comparison to Zach Wilson, breaking a second half quarterback in every whatever. The difference is this: Zach Wilson has had more talent around him
100%.
than Justin Fields did.
100%.
It's not even close.
Yeah, they only got DJ Moore
That's
this
it.
year.
And they got him
This
this
year.
year. And they ended up finishing, I believe, 8-9 or 7-10,
7 or 8 wins.
something like that.
It was
And
7
a
or
win
8.
streak to end the
And
season.
that's
Yeah.
while starting
Justin
injured.
Fields.
Yeah, he missed like 4,
Missed
3,
minimum, I believe, 4
3,
games.
minimum 3.
So yeah, I guess when you say, "Well, I'm not going to count the first half of every game, but I'm going to count the second half of every game,"
It's not
just
fair.
picking.
That's not fair because
That's just picking.
now you're just cherry picking to say he's Zach Wilson.
It's to fit your criteria.
Exactly. Listen, the fact that you compare him to Zach Wilson, it's an insult to Zach
'Cause-
Wilson. Shh. It's an insult to Zach Wilson, and here's why. Because he's garbage. You making Zach Wilson look good, not Justin Fields look bad. You're making Zach listen. We're talking about a kid whose mom is more popular than him. Okay, so I'm not even gonna go there. Okay, the thing is, Justin Fields. I would love to keep Justin Fields for the fact that the fans are backing this kid up. I love that story. That's a good story. He's entering his 4th year of his rookie contract. You got a 5th-year option that the team could pick up.
Let him
Okay?
cook.
Like, especially since, like,
And get Mark. This is a passing.
Get him help.
Just get the kid help. You guys have a ton.
and they just
a
signed
ton.
Swift, too. They just brought
Yeah,
in
they just brought DeAndre Swift.
Right. You brought in Swift.
Let Justin Fields cook, bro.
And then just get him help. If he needs line help, get him line help if he needs it. But get him the help. If he needs some defensive help, get him the help. But you cannot possibly tell me that this kid does not fit with the best. This kid fits with many teams out there.
Oh yeah,
If I was to
100%.
take Justin Fields and decide to keep him, you damn Skippy, I'm drafting Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes.
And I know
Period.
I know that they were up there in drops too this year. Like
And they
DJ Moore was the only one like actually catching the ball.
Even DJ Moore the guy, I was wrong.
Can
He had
you-
a great season.
Now I got a question.
But the Bears are one of the top teams that had a lot of drop passes. Marvin Harrison Jr. will fix that problem.
Yep.
Now, this is how bad the Chicago Bears wide receiver and skill players are around Justin Fields. Anybody not a Chicago Bears fan, can you name the 3 wide receivers Justin Fields was throwing to and the tight end?
I can name the tight end. I can't name any other receiver other than DJ Moore.
Besides DJ Moore.
Well, it's Cole Kmet is their tight end.
Okay.
But that's the only one I know.
Listen,
I can't name you any besides DJ Moore.
Well, I just gave you one.
Yeah, well, yeah.
listen. At the end
That's
of the day,
bad.
just surround the kid with talent. That's all you got to do. Get the kid help. They don't have to be all number ones.
No.
You
literally will have
you-
DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison Jr.
That's nasty.
And Swift.
That's
as
nasty.
As your offense.
And you got a nasty running quarterback in Justin
Your
Fields.
running game is going to remain the same
Right.
because
And
Justin
let's
Fields
not
is going to
forget,
add
Justin
to it.
Fields, I'm sorry, last time I checked, didn't a few years ago he had over 1,000 yards rushing?
Yes,
Yeah,
he's
or he was
nasty.
really
Let him
close, yeah.
cook.
So his passing is only going to improve.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
You have and please stop hiring head coach after head coach, coordinator after coordinator after coordinator.
Another thing.
Hire somebody and stick with them.
Well,
you gotta get this kid help.
typically head coaches get fired, but coordinators typically leave. I feel like for the most part.
Not Chicago's.
I mean, I could be wrong. I'm just saying for
mean,
most
yeah.
teams.
So I got another question. How about this situation here? Say they keep Justin Fields, okay? They draft Marvin Harrison Jr. in the 1st overall pick. They also got the 9th overall pick. I believe one of the top tackles are going to be on the board at 9.
That's not gonna go. Joe Alt will be gone before that.
There's another tackle.
Yeah, but Joe. This other tackle.
Yeah,
Don't
yeah.
get me wrong.
You got Joe Alt and the other one. Where is he from? Shoot.
Well, Joe Alt from Notre Dame.
Joe
so-
Alt is the best, but you also have other quality. You have another quality tackle that should be available at 9.
The guy is. I'm not gonna pronounce his first name because I'm gonna butcher it. But his last name is Fashunu.
Yeah.
Out of Penn State.
There you
and
go.
Then you got Talise Fuaga out of Oregon State. They're 8th and 9th ranked as far as
So what you
the best
do?
available.
So what you do is if they stick with Justin Fields, because they do need offensive line help as well. So what you do is you draft Marvin Harrison Jr. first, and 9th overall pick you draft the best available lineman. If it's not that big of a reach,
I've been saying
help
too,
Justin Fields out because I feel like he deserves it after that end of that season.
I've been saying the only way that they should. I go, if I'm the Bears, like I would try and even talk to like Washington or New England.
Okay.
If they're interested.
Yup.
That way you
Okay.
can maybe get another even second or
A
third
second round
out of
pick,
it, and you
yup.
can still take Marvin Harrison.
Okay, as long as you're not behind Arizona.
I wouldn't do that till closer to draft day. though.
Yeah, but you don't want to drop below Arizona
Yeah,
at all.
Yeah.
But you're gonna end up either
That's why I
have
said
the
those
1st, 2nd, or 3rd pick. You know that's all it is. Don't drop below Arizona because Arizona
We'll
wants-
take Marvin Harrison.
They're gonna take him. We all know that they're gonna take him. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't drop below 4th, and you can still get your wide receiver and
Yup.
maybe even pick up a couple of picks along the
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
Doesn't all the extra couple of picks doesn't have to be this year.
No.
One could be this year, next could be next year, plus what you have, or you might make a swap with one of the routes, whatever, however it is that they end up doing it. But right now, that's what I would do. You know, the top 3 are going to be. If
Possibly
the
quarterbacks.
best keep it, it's going to be Marvin Harrison Jr. And then you got Washington, who's going to take a quarterback.
So you're believing you think Chicago's going to take Marvin Harrison Jr. now?
Let's say they take Marvin Harrison
Okay.
Jr. Who's the first quarterback off the board?
Quinton Williams.
No, Quarter. Kayla, that's Kayla.
Oh, Caleb Williams. Sorry.
I would think Kayla.
By Washington.
Yes, by Washington.
I would think.
And your second?
It would probably be
The
Jaden
third
Daniels.
pick is New England, by the way.
I would
Jaden Daniels.
I would think Drake May.
It's going to be Drake May.
I think it's going to be Jaden Daniels if it's New England.
I mean, I don't really think it matters like with a specific quarterback. They're going to take quarterbacks.
It's
Here's
going to
the
be a
deal.
quarterback.
Here's the deal. Just look at this scenario here. The Bears don't make the trade. They take Marvin Harrison Jr. Or if they even make the trade, they stay in the top 3. They're taking Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yes.
Washington, New England, 2 out of the top 3. They're taking a quarterback.
Yes.
Okay. Arizona, they're probably either going to take the left tackle Joe Alt
Or wide
they're
receiver.
going to take a wide receiver. They're going to stick with Kyle Murray because of his contract. Number 5. You got San Diego, Justin Herbert.
That's a
Doesn't
tight
really
end.
matter.
That's gonna
Number
be a
6
tight
is
end.
the Giants. If you say a quarterback, dude, I'm gonna end this show right now. Seriously, do not.
It's a
say
quarterback or wide receiver.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
Or wide receiver.
I mean, here's what I'll say about that. They are more likely to take a quarterback than a good amount of these other teams,
Yep.
like Atlanta.
I agree.
Maybe I feel like they're about even with Tennessee.
I'm taking a quarterback.
Like the odds.
It's going to be a wide receiver or
Like
a
the
quarterback.
odds. Like
is
the
what
odds
he's
are
saying.
about the
They're
same.
gonna need a wide receiver to get him help when Daniel Jones get back because he only threw 15.
Daniel
touchdowns
Jones is
last
not
year.
going to be the quarterback after this
Tennessee's
year.
not taking a quarterback.
They might though. I don't think they will. But
I don't think they're
there is
going
the
to.
I think that's why I think the possibility is the same with the Giants.
Right. So now you have that mind you, so far, two of the three quarterbacks so far, if they take Marvin Harrison, the third quarterback could still be out there.
Like that's what I'm saying though. Like let's say the Giants don't take him, and let's say Daniels is available. Like I could possibly see the Titans. Going
Daniels or Drake May. Let's
or
just say
Drake
one of
May,
those two.
or Drake. Like I could see it.
I can't see the Giants passing up on Drake May or Jaden Daniels,
That's
bro.
not what we're talking about anymore.
I just don't think it
was
was
just talking about the Titans. We're not talking
Okay,
about the
I'm
Giants.
just saying I don't think it would get passed.
The Titans,
Like
maybe.
Like honestly,
Maybe.
that's what I'm saying. It's slim. Like I could see it. I don't really know which way they'll go, but like I could see it.
Then you have the Falcons. We know they're not taking
And
a
now they're
quarterback.
not. Yeah.
The Bears, if they take Marvin Harrison, they're not taking a quarterback. Obviously,
No, they're
going to
get line
Not
help.
with that ninth.
They're going to
pick.
get line help.
Not with the ninth pick.
The Jets. Just skip that.
No.
Skip that.
Then the big two.
Now you have the Vikings and the Broncos. Potentially,
that's
think
good.
about this. Just think about this. Potentially, one of those three quarterbacks, presumably May or
Daniels.
Daniels
Daniels
can
and May.
fall as low as 11 to the Vikings.
Yeah. There's no way they get to us.
It's not going to get to us. No
Not
way.
gonna Seattle.
Because you got
Who's us?
Vikings,
Seattle.
Broncos,
My team.
and the Raiders. Three teams right there, right off the rip. 11, 12, and 13. So that quarterback's not going to last. But at 16, I really do hope they get either Penix or Bo Nix.
We want Bo. We want Bo.
Exactly. But with that being said, that's the quarterback carousel. We go from free agency to the draft. So this actually kind of clear cuts pretty much who's going to go after quarterbacks at the beginning of the draft.
Yeah, free agency kind of like helped answer some questions in the
Yeah,
draft
it did.
on where teams sit and what they want to do. The one that really kind of sways my opinion in one direction is probably the Swift signing for Chicago. Sways my opinion more to a Marvin Harrison Jr. pick at 1.
I don't think it really does much.
It does to me.
I don't think it changes their mindset of if they're gonna take someone.
Don't get me wrong. I still think it's a possibility they take Caleb Williams.
I think the only thing it really clears up for me is that Atlanta will no longer be taking a quarterback.
That's all that matters to me.
And Steelers.
Well, they're back. They're down.
Yeah, they're down.
Like,
They're
20,
down though,
they're
right?
20.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're way down. So I'm not even worried about that part. But at the end of the day, though, a lot of things have cleared up after a bunch of signings today.
So I think we're approaching an hour. Is there
Yes.
anything else we want to talk about? Like really, that anybody wanted to talk about?
I feel like we hit everything on what we wanted to accomplish this
Yeah.
episode. We wanted to talk about the QBs and how free agency was going with the running back situation. We also tossed in some trade rumors. And we talked about some draft picks and what teams are going to do. I feel like we accomplished what we wanted to with this episode.
Because I can't think of anything else.
It was a good first
I
episode.
think it was a great first episode.
Same here.
So,
All right. Well, after the hour mark, I'm Efrain,
I'm Zach 1.
and I'm Zach 2.
and we just want to say thank you for viewing our first podcast of the year. All right. You folks have a good evening. Thank you.